Hey everybody, today we're going to look at creating a simple dashboard in Kibana. So if you haven't checked out the video, there's a video before this. I think it's, if you go to my YouTube channel, it's like 3 back, but it was the introduction to Elastic and Bimbeats. So check that out if you want to. But that'll give you a good overview of just, what these tools are that we're about to use. So, in Kibana today, what we're going to do is create a dashboard, a very simple dashboard. I like to go through this process, and this is something that is pretty useful if you're going to be managing this technology stack. So if you're going to be in Kibana, you're going to be in the Elastic stuff, messing around. I think this is a good workflow, especially if you're going to be creating a lot of dashboards. These dashboards I think the thing I'm going to go through today will give you a good breakdown of how you start with a problem. In this case, it'll be a simple dashboard of just tracking commands in Revit. Start with a problem and then try to figure that out and then get that into a dashboard. So we'll look at data. We'll look at we'll have Revit open and we'll be doing things live to see how that data is being tracked, and then we'll see how we can pull that then into a dashboard. So that's kind of what we're going to cover today. Right now you can see I've got Dynamo open because I want to show you a really cool dashboard, one that will go in deeper in the future, but I feel like it's a good teaser, something to show you guys. So this is Dynamo users and scripts. Now, unfortunately, I'm the only one using it on my machine, so that's all that's being tracked. And I think I mentioned in the previous video, this isn't a tool that you want to use at an individual level. Now, for doing R&D efforts or development things, or just making videos, you may want to track this or have use Bimbeats or just use Elastic in general. But just as an individual, there's not much benefit to this. It might be beneficial if I forget and I wanted to know what I did 15 days ago, but for the most part, that data is relevant. But what's really powerful behind this is when you start to have many users, so you're tracking a whole bunch of things. You can identify your power users in the firm. You can see how often you're really using Dynamo. A lot of firms don't understand what they're leveraging or how tools like this are being used throughout the firm. They can guess, but they have no idea. They may spend 40 hours building a script, and in reality, that script is not used at all, maybe once a year. And so the return on it is nothing. It may take like 2 years before you get the return on the investment of actually creating it. So this can start to make you understand really what's important, what scripts are important, where should you prioritize time. So you can see down here, these are the scripts, and then this is the how many times it ran from Dynamo. So 388 times. That's pretty excessive. I know I haven't ran it that many times. And then you can see 164. I say that because I think the way that it tracks in the logs is a little bit different. So the numbers are a bit higher. I don't want to say too much about it. This will be something we dive into later. But anyways, just wanted to kind of give you guys a teaser. There's a lot of cool stuff, a lot of cool things you can track. So now let's get into just creating a basic dashboard. So I'm going to jump over here. I'm going to jump into the Discover tab. All right, so now we're seeing metric beats, and that's one of the beats that comes with Elastic, so it's not part of Bimbeats. It tracks like all the CPU stuff, just all the things that are happening on a computer. So this information is pretty powerful, and there's some default standard or not. They're just already pre-set up dashboards that Kibana releases to you. Just if you check out their site, you can learn more about those. But anyways, this is usually what it defaults to. When you jump to the Discover tab, you'll see metric beat. We'll drop that down. We'll go to our indexes. I've yet to clean out my indexes, just a heads up on that. But if we look for Revit user, now remember, we want to track actions. So what I'm going to do is in Revit, I'll just do a quick wall command. And then this is, you can see here, this is the last 15 months. I'm going to change this to just 15 minutes. So you can see all the different commands. And now if we expand, now these are documents. These are, so I kind of misspoke there. These aren't commands yet. We'll look at the different values in these documents, but these are all individual documents that are, you know, the Beats are looking at these on the machine and then pushing this up into Elastic. So if we expand this, we can look at some of the different information. So one of the big ones that we care about is this one right here, the action. So that's what we want to track. So somebody came to us, they want to track that. They want to know who's using Revit and how they're using it. So what I would usually do is I start in this Discover tab. I start here, and then I will try to break down the problem. So I'll have Revit open just like you saw, and I will start to do the commands. So in this case, I just want to track action. So I did a couple commands, drawing walls, and then I'm in the Discover tab, just looking at the data. So I'll expand this and then look at some of the logs. You can see here the action is create wall. And then if we keep looking, we can see that like the username. So that'll be probably something important. They probably want to know who the user is and who's exactly you know, making these actions inside of Revit. So anyways, this is the Discover tab. I start here, and then now what I do is, usually with multiple screens open, I would open up another tab and then look at actually creating the dashboard. So over here, we'll click on dashboard. We'll have a new tab open. And actually, let's do this again. So here's all of our dashboards, and now if we come over here, we can create a new dashboard. And then we'll look at this, but this here will actually create a lens. It's like a lens dashboarding tool or a lens visualization tool. It makes creating visuals really easy. We're not going to do that yet. What we're going to actually look at is if we click on all types and then go down here to aggregation based. Then what we can do is go down to data table, and then the index that we used earlier, the Revit user. Oops. So we'll just click on that. All right, now there's only me in this, so what we want to do is create buckets. So we'll do split row, and then we're going to do by terms. And then what we're going to do is actually we'll do it by username. Now, in this case, isn't going to be the most visually cool or visually good example because I'm the only one using it. But it'll still make sense. So there's me, I'm the user, there's 10 documents, it's what that count is. So there's 10 documents that are up there within the last 15 minutes. And now I'll create another bucket, so I'll do split rows again. This time we'll do it by the action. So come down here, I'll change it to 500. I changed the size just so that it grabs all the data, but you can kind of play around with that value when you bring these into an actual dashboard. Select field. Now what we're going to do is just search for action, grab action, update, and then boom, you can see all the different actions within the last 15 minutes. So Dalto, because I forgot an N when I was setting up my computer. You can see over here, cancel the current operation, So that was just me clicking the escape key. You can see I did it 4 times. Create a new project, create a wall, launch Dynamo, so we can see all of that information. Now if I go in there and create another wall, you can see that within the last 15 minutes, create walls, there's 1 document. Now if I refresh this, we can see there's 2 documents, and then some of the older information is off there. So time is a really big factor in this. It's not like Power BI where it's like just pulling all the information into one database and then you're just visualizing it. Time is a pretty big factor, especially with things like this. It's like I want to know the commands within the last week or whatever, so that I can identify potential issues. Are people loading in a bunch of CAD files, or are they getting a lot of errors, warnings that they're having to click out of? You may want to know that more or less in real time, or at least within the last few days. So you're typically up here changing the time. And what's cool is on your dashboards you can actually specify different times for different visualizations. So we'll see in the last 15 days some of the things that I've done in there. And then we can, sort this by different things. We'll see extrusion in. I've used it once in 15 days. Annotate. So that's kind of it. That's all I wanted to show you guys, how to create a visual. Very simple, very basic, I know. And we'll get into the more complicated stuff. Now, for actually creating, the dashboard part, the dashboard's already created. So all we have to do is come up here to save and return. And then now you can see our dashboard. So this is our dashboard. Just like the Dynamo one we saw earlier. Let me open that up real quick so that you guys can just see it side by side again. But the Dynamo user one, so you can see that these are the visuals. So we can edit this dashboard and then size these. So this dashboard here has just got 1 on it, and that's it. So what we can do is kind of move this around. We can add other ones to this. We can duplicate this one and then modify it. And then when we're done with all of this, what we can do is save, and we can call this just our, simple dash. And then I typically try to add a description. Because you can search this, so when you go back into your dashboard, your overall dashboard, you can search for keywords, and they will pop up if they're in the description. Now they did add the tag part of it, so you can add new tags and then use existing ones to easily find things and easily sort for them. So we can just call this, I don't know. Kind of a weird name, but I think you get the point. And then you can do other things with it, add a description to that as well. I'm not going to create that, but yeah, I mean that's it really. That's all it takes to create a dashboard. So it takes a minute to get used to looking at the hardest part is looking at the data. That takes a little bit of time to get used to figure out what all these indexes have and what's inside of them. But it becomes a lot easier after you get the hang of it. You understand what's in these different indexes. You know what data is available in it. And plus, there's this really handy search tool, which you can just put in quotes. You can just put you can do just really quick queries of the data. So here I just typed in wall, and this actually filtered out all the other documents, and it filtered and found the ones that had wall in it. So create wall, wall line. So when we're in the Discover tab and we're looking for certain things, so if I jump back over there and if I search wall, we can see create wall, create wall. So that's really powerful. It'll make searching this easier. So in this example, we just wanted to go for actions, but maybe there's a particular action that you're looking for, and there's a whole bunch of documents, but you're only looking for a certain one. Well, then you can find that action, and then you can actually save this out as a saved search that you can use in visualizations. But anyways, we can go deeper into that in the future. But I wanted to show you guys kind of a simple dashboard, how to set it up, how to get going with it, and just the, really just simple. But in the future, this is just a kind of a starting point to start to develop more complicated dashboards, or more interesting ones. Eventually we'll get into Canvas and some of the other cool things that Elastic has. So anyways, that's all I got. Please let me know if you have any questions. Also, if you want to, there's donations in the PayPal below. Everything that I do will continue to be free, so don't worry about that. That's only if you want to donate. Some of this stuff does have costs with it, and that's what that money would go to, is just the cost for some of these tools. But other than that, I appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.